All right, guys, it looks like we are live. Usually I have my channel up on my phone so I can verify everything's going good. Can you hear it? All right, looks good to me. Welcome, everybody, back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Host Patrick Host, and we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome in, Cyber Warrior. Today, we're just going to kind of cover true crime news. Um, we'll go back to things. It's going to be kind of scatterbrain, a little ski-wompy, and I can talk about anything. But what you can expect, we're going to look at the breaking news about Pope Francis, 88 years old. We're going to headline Father Esco of Carmelo Anthony's family press conference. So that's very interesting. Then we have a creep alert and an interesting tale of a true crime YouTube channel that turned out to be just a huge hoax, all AI generated. Alex, what's going on? Thank you so much. All right, guys, we have a sponsor for today's live stream. Shout out to Alex. What have you been up to? I haven't seen you in a minute. Like I haven't seen you in a week or two. Good to see you, Beth. Jill Moser. Jody Lynn. Cheeks, what's up? Mark, good to see you. Patty. All right. Let's maybe start with the I have a cue. So, all right, this one says it's about 30, a little over 30 minutes. Oh, and by the way, members, I think sometime tomorrow we're going to get together. We're going to do a members only, and I'm going to give away one of these Sleuth Crew hats. I might have it. Can you guys see that? Brand new in the bag. Keeping up with this case, or have already seen the press. Gotcha. Yep, you are on the other side of the globe. Glad you can make it. What's up, Boston? What are you up to? Brown eyed girl, what's up? So today's April 21st, 2025, and it is hot and sunny in Arizona. So if you are following this case, the Austin Metcalf case or the Carmelo Anthony case, let me know what you think in the comments here about what's going on. Starting to feel like a psyop. Cheek says it's cloudy and chilly in New York. New York, New York. So enjoy it. Right? The grass isn't always greener, right? I mean, we could use a few clouds, you know. I always like it when it's kind of cloudy. It's like somewhat rain clouds, stormy weather, but still you have the sunlight kind of shining through pretty bright. And you can see the contrast between the storm clouds and like the blue sky behind it. That's my preference. Hey, what's up, Julia? Julia Burns. I would hit you with the Mr. Burns, but I can't do it while I'm sharing my screen or it echoes. Cheeks, I lived in Las Vegas for 8 years, so I know what you mean. Yeah, it's pretty hot out there, isn't it? Basically the same desert. Yep, I like that. All right. So, some of the things that you can expect today, we're going to touch on Pope Francis. Fox put out a pretty good piece about him and his entire history. I thought it was interesting. Um, so, we'll probably be interrupting that one as we review it. We're going to look at some Delphi stuff. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the YouTube channel called Wild Adventures with Michael. But a while ago, they made a YouTube video of them crossing the bridge, going down the hill, crossing the creek, getting their boots wet, literally, going to the crime scene and kind of popping back up and giving us some good footage. And previously, they had given me permission to air this, so I figured we'd look at that again. And maybe a few other items. But we're definitely going to start here with Carmelo Anthony family press conference. It's about 30 minutes long. Gators fan, what's up? Badass. They want a race war. The left Soros does. Pope Francis, an actor from Britain. Good to see you, badass. Totally off topic. It'd be cool. Check out Jonathan Prince, a British actor equals Pope Francis. Well, what about Ronald Reagan? Maybe they're all actors. I think it's crazy how the Pope was out and about doing a bunch of stuff yesterday. He even met with JD Vance and then this. Yeah, I watched that on X. I was like, damn, they sent JD Vance to take out the Pope. I was like, he took him out. Mustang, what up? Oh, Bohemian Grove. We talked about it a little bit. I think we brought up the boxer. The hell's his name? I'm having a brain fart right now. But he said he went to the actual. He said he went to Bohemian Grove. Then I remember Alex Jones filming it a long time ago. Yep, Alex Jones. Oh yeah, the boxer is Ryan Garcia. Hello. But a lot of people thought he was on drugs, and he probably was. Funny sleuth, I actually was at a Taco Bell a year after Reagan supposedly passed away, and a man asked me for the time, and he looked exactly like Reagan. Was he with Elvis and Michael Jackson? And recently, Brian Landry. It's a club now. Oh yeah, Moloch, the owl Moloch. And then supposedly, if you look at, I think it's $100 bill or a $1 bill under a microscope, you can kind of see like a little owl. Shit, maybe even the naked eye. I don't know. All right, guys, we're at the 10-minute mark. Let's go ahead and get this going here.
I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America. What we seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close.
Why is he talking like
not
that?
Attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf because we respect the dignity of life and loss. And as a minister, I would not attack a grieving family, even if I disagree with them. When I have stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement, I have asked for that same.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to point something out. This is already extremely political. By the imagery that they're trying to kind of put off, by the way this guy's talking. I hope that they're not trusting this man.
Matter of respect. And even when the shoe is on the other foot, I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say.
So he's referring to Austin Metcalf's father, who was in attendance. He walked in there and for apparently he had an injury, or maybe he recently had surgery to his arm, but he was in some kind of a cast and a brace as well. And he was there. He was watching the press conference, and he was waiting for it to finish up so he could talk with these folks. And right in the middle, I guess they just couldn't handle his presence or something, and they booted him out.
Say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop.
Conservative operatives. I'm a conservative, and I've been doing my best to look at things from a self-defense perspective, right? From a self-defense angle. I thought I've done a good job so far. I think they have a decent argument, but to act like, it's not just going to end up as a manslaughter charge is preposterous. And to use this crime for political reasons is disgusting, in my opinion.
About this case. It is outright disrespectful. We haven't been doing it. The Next Generation Action Network has been here, popular and unpopular. So regardless of what going on, that was disrespectful. Disrespectful. And I will leave it to
Two
y'all
two
to define it.
disrespectfuls.
But of course, we want to. Y'all, I'm Minister Dominique Alexander.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, Cheeks. Cheeks says never trust anybody that speaks like a pastor. Just saying. That's what it is. He sounds like he's kind of preaching. And he even has his Martin Luther King mustache. Bro, you can replicate, but you'll never duplicate.
I serve as the president of the Next Generation Action Network. Today, I come before you with a heavy heart, but determined in spirit, not just as an advocate, but as a Black man, as a father, as a protector, in community, and children. There are 4 critical points I must address today, and I want to make sure that the public and the media and everyone who believes in truth and justice. First, the misinformation about the fund. From the very beginning, there was an intentional disinformation surrounding the fund created in the support of the Anthony family.
Yeah, I remember seeing some rumors online about they took the money and bought a home. They bought a SUV, all this crazy stuff. But I mean, why even respond to nonsense on X? I mean, all it is trolling.
The Carmelo Anthony Fund, hosted by Give, Send, Go, let's be clear. The family has not received one dime. Any of the media could have verified
CJK.
this. But we saw on Twitter, we saw on Facebook, and so many different things of the false, lavish life of this family. $800,000 home, purchase Escalade, in private security.
Mustang says the dad of the victim they kicked out wasn't trying to start anything. In my opinion, he was trying to reach out. Yes, and if they don't show it here, I have a video from behind the scenes that will play right after this, and it shows him entering the building and just kind of sitting behind the scenes, and he just kind of becomes a distraction. But I don't think that was his intention.
Let me make this very clear. The Next Generation Action Network has always had its security detail. Many of you that know us in the Dallas and Fort Worth media.
Next Generation Action Detail? So that was a blatant plug.
Know that we have our own security detail. One of the individuals that escorted Carmelo Anthony out of jail is here present with us now. They are a part of the Next Generation Action Network security team.
Plug number 2.
The family hasn't hired any private contractors or whatever, or splurged or whatever. But if they have the audacity to spend money for their safety and security, that's their prerogative.
Good old knife hand.
The family has not.
Next, we'll probably see the thumb.
And just until recently,
calling it now the thumb,
they were officially notified by Give, Send, Go that they could start the withdrawal process.
Call that the Bill Clinton
But
thumb.
if anybody know about this process, they know that takes about 2 to 3 days to withdraw from that and actually hit any account. But this blatant
welcome in W. Smith.
Wasn't just about.
Don't slap me.
It wasn't just about the fund. It was to discourage the public from giving to the fund. That's what this was about. Because just like TMZ was able to call, Give, Send, Go, everybody in the media, in these news outlets that I've never heard before could have did the same thing. When I first called Give, Send, Go, they gave me every information that I needed. Okay? So that's what I'm going to say on regards to that. Let me make this very clear. This family never authorized a single fund on the GoFundMe platform. All of the funds that were raised on the GoFundMe were all fraudulent.
Don Spain, what up? Oh shit, what happened? I blame that on Don. Look, Don walks into the room and look what happens. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Fraudulent. Fraud. Yeah, I got you.
He's like, help me. He's like, who the hell set this shit up anyway? It's probably somebody out there at CNN.
All of the funds that was raised on that platform were fraud. Okay? The family was the first to report these funds. One of the funds we identified raised
the devil in the room.
So a post about anything.
Speak of the devil.
That stated that GoFundMe took everything down regarding Carmelo Anthony, that was at the request of the families and their supporters. This family never tried to create
He's
an
a Jedi
on GoFundMe. The Next Generation Action Network is very well aware of
these are not the drones that you are looking for
regarding raising funds for legal defense. Okay. Since this tragedy unfolded, the Anthony family has been subject to unimaginable amount of hate, racism, threats to their safety. People have sat outside their house, sent objects delivered to their door, publicly harassed, online and in person. This is not just about Carmelo. It's about the family who dared to stand and demand justice in a return and receive ugliness that racism in this country still breeds. But let me say this loud and clear.
Politicizing.
We are not scared. We are not moving. We will not be silent. What I've always said as the president of the Next Generation Action Network, we will
Plug
never
number
ask
3.
the oppressor for permission to liberate our people.
Oppressor?
We will not ask for permission to stand up for the rights of our children.
How can you in one sentence talk about people or talk about racism, and then in the very next breath you're calling somebody an oppressor? Like, who's the oppressor? Like, to me that sounds even more racist. Like, what are you talking about, the white people in the room?
The Next Generation Action Network has stood on both sides of the fence in ensuring that justice is served. Now, getting to the information that the Next Generation Action Network wanted to share
plug number 4
with the public today. And I will go ahead and pass it over to the mother and once I make this statement, okay? All right. There's 2 more final. For the last week and a half, the Next Generation Action Network has engaged in communications.
Number 5, and I'm noticing it's here on the button. Next Generation just feels like some matter stuff. Very political, I'm assuming.
With Frisco ISD to ensure that Carmelo Anthony's due process is not violated. We know that in the state of Texas, there are things that are discretionary things and decisions by the leadership of Frisco ISD, right? There are clear guidance in the state and education code regarding expulsion of a student. We have asked several times.
Oh,
we
shit,
didn't
Mark.
just rush. We have had these conversations over the last several days.
Is it that something? I have that record actually. Shit, I think we might be able to do that live. I don't know if it's in this collection right here. Maybe in it. We'll save that for another time.
And we have stated that it is just outright wrong to get involved in this. Carmelo Anthony doesn't have to walk. He doesn't have to involve in any senior activities. But Carmelo Anthony is a 3.7 GPA student. And if he doesn't even go to class for the remainder of the year, he would graduate. Okay?
I think the
We
biggest problem with this case and what may have caused it to become so political like it is now, it's becoming very high profile. I think it was everybody's assumption that it was like a racial thing. You know, everybody wanted to paint Carmelo Anthony as like some kind of thug and bringing up statistics about black on white crime and things like that, instead of just kind of looking at it for what it actually was, an isolated incident, you know. And then you got people like this, basically they're vultures, you know, ambulance chaser types. And I think the family should get rid of this guy. I think it would help their son in the long run during the whole trial process not to have this become very political.
ask that Frisco do not make a decision in this situation. But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Carmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask.
See, and that's what I don't like. You're saying that they shut down the track meet because of the weather. That would have prevented a murder. No, the truth is, if Carmelo Anthony wouldn't have done that, would death at all. For me is, was he at risk? That's the only question. Was Carmelo Anthony possibly at risk under the law? You know, and what does the law say? He got an uphill battle trying to explain that. Also, we have all we with Austin, so everything's going to be protecting that narrative, right? We haven't really heard too many people or seen a video. There's rumors of a video being out there, so we don't really know what happened. But to me, that's the question. It's not about why was he sitting there. You know, it's a free country, right? And just because somebody's sitting in a place that you don't like doesn't mean you get to go bully them or beat them up. But the question is, does that mean that he had the right to stab somebody? Typically, your life has to be being threatened, or you think that it's at risk, and you don't have any obligation to retreat. You know, you can stand your ground and fight. So, I mean, if he's swinging on him and attacking him and grabbing him, I don't know what the law says. Can you pull out a knife and defend yourself? Because I know, you know, it says with equal force. You have to match with equal force. But if, let's say you're a 300-pound bodybuilder trained in jujitsu and there's a 60-pound old 85-year-old woman and he decides to attack her, what, she's supposed to fight him back with her fists? Like, how do you match? Because that's not a match, right? So it's almost like she would need a knife or a gun to defend herself. And Carmelo was only what, like 130 pounds? So I don't know what the law says. All I know is that's the question. Did he need to pull that knife out and kill Austin? Was it him or Austin? And I think that the answer was no. He did not need to pull out that knife. He didn't need to do it. But I think that the law is going to be scrutinized definitely through this whole process, and you're going to have vultures coming in and trying to politicize this and kind of turn it into some weird psyop. But I mean, for me, it's that simple. Um, was Austin a threat to Carmelo's life? I don't think so. I think the answer is no.
Your journalist, your weather journalist, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research.
Weatherists? Did he say weatherist? That was funny.
The weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research. Because as a person who is the administrator of your children, you are responsible for the safety of the children. And so it
Yes,
seems
Mark.
as if Frisco.
Mark, I believe that's Carmelo's mother and his father. I know that's his mother. I'm pretty sure that's his father.
ISD is trying to push this off by making this decision that they do not have to make. So the Next Generation Action Network, outside of the legal process, will be going through different avenues.
Honestly, Will.
Regarding to
I don't know if that's your
ensure
name, but I'm gonna call you
that
Will.
we fight for the rights of Carmelo Anthony. Okay? So in the next coming days, we will be announcing to the public. We will do direct action outside of Frisco ISD administration office because this is outright wrong. You are getting involved.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. It's like, what happened today? Oh, this punk, tried to kick me out of their tent. It was raining, he bullied me. Or they bullied me out of there, they forced me out, I had to leave this area and I got all wet. It was either that or I get into a fight, and these guys were twice my size. So you had that scenario, but instead of having that, you have, oh, what happened? Well, this guy was bullying me. They were, attacking me. And instead of coming home and complaining about it, I decide to kill him.
Involved in a process that even the legal process has asked us to respect. And we're asking you to do that same thing. You do not have to get involved in this situation. But it seems that even with us going and meeting or having conversations, they have made their mind up.
Stepfather.
And we want to make sure that the records, that we talk truth to power in regards.
What's up, Frank?
I wanted to lay this out to ensure, because of the sensitivity of this case.
What's up, Bobby?
There are so many moving factors that I have to explain so that this family does not have to explain. Let me say this about the 4th, and let me repeat this so that you guys can go to the Frisco Police Department. The reason why the family or me or anybody with direct knowledge of this cannot talk about the particulars of what happened in that tent, I know you know this is all law, is because if anybody tell you there was an adult near or inside or whatever, this current investigation knows nothing about that. Everybody involved at this point of our knowledge are minors. In the state of Texas, we cannot release or talk about minors. So stop asking us the question. Stop.
That does create some complications for Carmelo. Like I said, everybody that's come forward as a witness is basically in the favor of Austin. So the only narrative that we really know is coming from that side of things. So from trying to get your story out to the public, that does create some roadblocks and some difficulties.
It's no, we can't even do it if we wanted to. Okay? We can't talk about it. So don't ask. There is a court of law that will express everything, will lay out everything. We can't talk about it if we wanted to. Okay? So make it clear. Go back, confirm with Frisco Police Department. Go back.
Beth says Carmelo should have never had that knife at a school function. Maybe he had it to protect his life. Only question is, was his life being threatened? I say no. Just being in those types of situations, but you never know. I've also seen simple fist fights turn into a manslaughter case or a second degree murder case.
Back, confirm with the district attorney. Even in the bond hearing, you didn't see a
I guess, Beth, it kind of reminds me of the Kyle Rittenhouse situation where he wasn't supposed to have the gun, you know what I mean? But eventually it saved his life, right? It's like, what was that young kid doing there? Legally, he's not allowed to possess that gun. So he ended up getting charged, for having that gun. But at the same time, it was that very gun that saved his life. So it's like, what was Kyle Rittenhouse doing with that, with a rifle? Legally, he shouldn't have had it there. Well, guess what? It saved his life. But are we comparing apples to apples or apples to oranges? Is that the same case with Carmelo Anthony? Is it one of those situations where it's like, well, legally you can't have that knife, but damn, good thing you did, right? I just don't think that that's what we're dealing with.
a single thing said about people that was indirect. They're minors. Okay? So stop. The social media, stop. I haven't saw not one person single-handedly get this right.
And just to point out, when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse, he was being attacked. He was being chased. He was giving warnings. He had the rifle in his hand, so they knew the risk. One of the people that he ended up shooting actually had pulled a gun out on him. So I mean, it's apples and oranges. So just wanted to point that out.
In the public. They're minors, y'all. Just stop. We can't.
Thanks, Mark.
Don't send another inquiry.
Shout out to Alex
inbox,
and Mark
do this,
for sponsoring
all of
today's
that.
live.
That's the reason why we felt like it was important to do this press conference today. We can't talk about it. So if you ask me, I'm just going to look at you. Okay? So I'm telling the world. Everybody know the state law. I'm not creating it. We can't talk about it. This family can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. Nobody, unless you want to be sued. You release one of those 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds and 17-year-olds name, the law of this land tells you what was going to happen to you. Okay? So don't ask that question.
Let's go to Jason Vort. He says, I knew somebody in a situation like that. He was carrying a gun and got robbed. He unalived the guy robbing, and he ended up only getting charged with having a gun. Yeah, that does happen. There was another case where, can't remember her name, but she had a gun. She was possessing it illegally in her own home. She only kept it at the home. And her boyfriend was literally beating her to death, right? He was pummeling her. He was trying to kill her. So she pulled her gun out of wherever she kept it and killed her boyfriend. And it was pretty high profile. I can't remember the name. It was a while back though. And she was acquitted. She was acquitted of the murder charge, but they still hit her with the illegal possession of a firearm or something like that.
Finally, in regards to this judge,
thanks, Mark.
I do not know Judge Angela Tucker. I've never met her, never known her, never been nowhere near her court. Don't know anything about her until we were notified that she was going to hear the writ. But the ugly attacks on her just shows Black America that no matter what you pick in the ballot box, and that is your constitutional right.
I wonder what it'd be Black American and just having somebody just kind of group you in with them. Like, you belong to us, You're not your own person. You're over here with us. Is that a thing?
It's people out here reminding us of the black struggle in America. This woman is a registered Republican, has been for years. She put herself through school, she raised her family, she did everything. I'm a registered Democrat, proud. I'm the chair of the Dallas County Democrat Resolutions Committee.
Oh, he's a Democrat? I would have never guessed.
I don't know that woman. And to call her leftist is just downright disrespectful.
He's like, I'm leftist, not
The
her.
bond that was given is according to law and consistency with practice.
He doesn't seem to be familiar with the bloodlust of social media. Like his whole discussion today is basically a troll mob on Twitter, or it's like, why are you even? None of that shit matters, because really those are the political battlegrounds now. You know, the X platform. You know, that's where they're duking it out, and that's why he's addressing them. He's politicized the case, which is already disgusting. He's promoted his own companies, and he's addressing Twitter. He's not addressing the public at all. He's like addressing the trolls that are out there.
If Aaron Dean can get a $300,000 bond when he killed a Tatiana Jefferson, Carmelo Anthony can get a $250,000.
Okay. Well, we would need to compare the facts of the case, right? Here we go again with people struggling, specifically politicians, comparing apples to apples. It's always apples to oranges, you know, things that are not even similar. Just happen to be somebody of the opposite race. So I'm going to use it as an example.
If
It's disgusting,
Amber
really.
Guyger can get a $200,000 bond when she kills Botham Judd in his own home, he can get a $250,000. If Roy Oliver can get a $250,000 bond after he kills Jordan Edwards, all white officers, why couldn't Carmelo Anthony be entitled? A child with no background, no criminal background, no endangerment to the community, none whatsoever, be placed on a ELM and brought.
Well, so was charged with first degree murder. I don't believe that you can go on a first degree murder charge. So I think it might even be a simple answer.
Please help me understand. Make this make sense. It's consistency. It's consistent with practice. After this, y'all, so that we'll know, this will be our final press conference until this trial.
What's up,
We
Sam?
will not speak to the media again after this. Okay.
Good. He probably shouldn't.
Don't ask for comment, question, or whatever it is. The actions that the Next Generation Action Network take on Frisco ISD will be as separate from the legal process because we want to make sure that Carmelo Anthony's due process, this is going to be a jury case. And then let me make this very clear.
What's up, Cindy?
This is a case that has not even been indicted.
Right now, we're touching on the Austin Metcalf case. This was Carmelo Anthony's family. They put on this press conference. I can't remember this guy's name, but he's kind of ridiculous. It's really they're just turning it into like a political circus and stoking like race baiting is what I guess you could call it.
So, under the guise of Texas law, it's not even really proceeding to a trial yet because it has not even went through a grand jury to be indicted. We know.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Dominique Alexander.
Or not. We don't know. That's in the district attorney's hand.
Yeah, something they're going to start looking into this guy's past, and I can just tell you guys, just from experience, there's definitely something there. I can just tell you. The whole snaky salesman, political shtick, That's a mask. I'm just going to throw that out there. Maybe you can prove me wrong, maybe not. But to me, that's an easy one.
Okay? And their legal team is preparing a packet for those things, and we will not be talking about the legal process regarding.
Hopefully, Sam Kidder says one good thing about this is opening the eyes of white Americans. Hopefully, it's opening the eyes of all Americans. Black, white. People need to know the law. Maybe Carmelo really thought he was legally allowed to do. There are videos online where back and somebody in the fight and the kid's like, I don't want to fight, starts getting attacked, pulls out a blade and starts sticking the kid. Those videos are all over social media. So maybe he was under the impression that legally he was allowed to do that. Like, hey, if you physically come at me, I can legally stab you. So somebody's either lied to him, the public's been misinformed. It might be time for people to revisit the laws when it comes to self-defense, because the United States is a big we're big on the Second Amendment, self-defense. A lot of states have stand your ground. So, I mean, people really need to evaluate those boundaries, because ignorance is not an argument in the court of law.
Regarding this case, okay? So after today, I just want the media to know, and I want the public to know, I don't care what you say about me. I've been in this thing for 11 years. I am tried, tested, and
Smith says this dude beat up his wife and baby. Well, how do you know that?
I'm gonna just say I'm from Oak Cliff. Worser things have been said about me, baby. You don't got to inbox me.
This ain't about you, bro.
I am the first person to tell my testimony. I don't have to prove anything to nobody.
Wabbit, what's up?
I
Yes, Dominique has a criminal history.
Here.
Well, according to Mr. Smith, beat up his wife and baby. Here, let me put this out here real quick before I get myself in trouble. Plop that up there. Thank you, Boston Christian. Alex, Mark, and Boston sponsoring today's live stream. Let's get all these disclaimers out there. Here's another one. And another one. Just saying.
That God, even when you make mistakes, God is not finished with your story.
Right into the sermon.
I'm going to bring this mother, Kayla Hayes, and it has taken her a lot of strength, y'all, to come and do this today. And I want you guys to respect her as she read this.
Yikes.
And giving her.
Told you. I rest my case. I rest my case.
Respect that she deserves, y'all.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Carmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas, searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband worked hard every single day to provide.
I rest my case.
To make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack.
I haven't seen any of the evidence, Mark. Mark's asking how big was the knife. I don't know. For whatever reason, I'm picturing maybe just like a pocket knife.
Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff.
Yeah, in the police
Our
report, Smith, it said he threw the black knife. Witnesses say he threw a black knife. I'm assuming it's a folding pocket knife. I don't know why.
address
Don't
and
quote
my
me.
husband's previous employer's
What's up,
address
Darkside?
has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of
Darkside says he pulled it out of his backpack. I thought, yeah, he did. So he sits under the canopy because it's raining. I'm assuming the boys come back. They see him sitting there. They try to force him to leave. Physically, they may have even surrounded him. He says, "If you touch me, you'll see what happens." And he kind of reached into his bag. So what Austin did was he touched him. He like went, "Okay, I touched you. What are you going to do about it?" He says, "Well, if you punch me, you'll see what happens." And then I think he grabbed him and his bag and started forcefully moving him. And then during that melee, he stabbed him in the chest with a knife. Stood up, started running, threw the knife into the bleachers as he was kind of fleeing. He didn't leave the scene. He just kind of went to the opposite side of the track and kind of waited there. And law enforcement quickly apprehended him.
absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted.
Darkside, you might be right. Don't quote me on the knife. For all I know, it's a damn hunting bush knife, a Bowie or something.
And discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son
Lunch
deserves
truck, what
the
up?
same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply.
I do have to admit, social media is getting too powerful. We're turning into the mob of old, with that mob rule. Social media is turning us into a true democracy. And that's not what our plan was. That's not the plan for America or the United States of America. We're really not a democracy. And that's what's happening. Social media is turning it into like mob rule. It's like tainting the whole process. And the process sucked to begin with. The quote unquote system. I mean, you're judged by 12 jury members, right? Jury members that don't know shit about the case. They're literally seeking out people that know nothing about it. I feel like that's I don't think that that's helpful. It's almost better to find people that know about the case and that are familiar with the case but are unbiased about the case. You bring them in there and you have them for 13 weeks, and they're supposed to um, figure out everything within those 13 weeks from scratch. It's just not likely. And then they make a decision that's being kind of swayed by two salesmen. Like, who's the better salesman? Is it the prosecutor or the defense attorney? Whoever the better salesman is, that's the product that the jury's going to buy. That's not justice, guys. We don't really have a justice system. You have false confessions, false imprisonments. You have people being released, mistaken identities, like absurd coincidences, planted evidence. There's no such thing as a justice system. So when you start allowing social media to dictate everything on top of a system that's already broken, we're fucking doomed. I gotta
all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, when I speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day, there's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in the legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
What's up, Carla?
We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
Y'all,
Welcome in, Carla.
I'm going to show something up of a post. You
See?
come for me, I come for you.
I told you he was addressing, his whole speech was addressing the trolls. And here's more proof that I was right about that. He's affected by what the trolls are saying on social media, and he's taking that runaway train and taking this poor family here along for the ride. They need to ditch this guy.
Sarah Fields. Never heard of this woman.
Look, Sarah
This is
Fields.
kind of despicable things.
So now she's just become a target, right? So the people that he's there to speak on their behalf, they're claiming that they are targets. So what does he do? He makes these people here public targets. That's not cool.
That led to the father being here. Political operatives motivating this family with hate. Carmelo Anthony posted on something that shows, posted here. These are the type of lies that are...
Like, if you can't rise above people that are trolling you on X or social media, you have no business being involved in this high profile of a case. That is your level. You can't rise above that level. This case needs somebody who can rise way above that madness, not this guy.
That are threatening this family.
More
Posting the
X.
family's picture.
More X.
These are the type of lies. She's getting millions of views on this. Sarah. She's even came after me.
So it's personal with this guy.
She's even said all of those things. And now that the public knows exactly what is going on, I ask, because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy, he should be afforded the same rights that Cal Rittenhouse had?
Shelly, I believe I don't know this guy's name, but it was mentioned in the chat that his name was Dominique. So that's this gentleman here, a spokesperson from NGAN. Something he's been plugging the entire time. Carmelo's family is to his right, over his right shoulder.
Daniel Penna and all of the people who have claimed whatever their defense was, he should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back.
All right, so here we go again. Very predictable here. It's never comparing apples to apples, right? It's never, that's never the case whenever you have politicians involved. It's always apples and oranges. So that's what we're doing. He's trying to compare, he's trying to say that Carmelo Anthony is exactly like Kyle Rittenhouse, just black. And that's not true. Although our similarities, legally wasn't allowed to be carried, and Carmelo legally wasn't supposed to have the knife. The question is, did those weapons save their lives? In Kyle Rittenhouse's case, yes, it did. He was being attacked. He was being chased down a street. He was hit over the head with a skateboard, and people actually pulled out a gun and those who were shot. In the case of Anthony and Austin Metcalf, there seems to be just a simple physical altercation. There wasn't no attack. There wasn't no bashing of the head, smack, like the Zimmerman case where his head was being smashed into the pavement. There was none of that going on. So it's important that you're comparing apples to apples, not apples to oranges. People aren't that stupid. You're going to lose all credibility when you do that. Well, at least you lose credibility with me. That's that much I do know.
We got that. And he raised more than $2 million publicly, and nobody says anything. So since they
apples
tried
and
to
oranges,
come
buddy.
for us, I call for the community's overwhelming support for this fund. The disinformation that was put out was literally...
There you go. Hey, Fishy, that's the word I was looking for earlier. The aesthetics, the whole political theater that we're seeing. I just don't think it's helpful for anybody. Come up there, be yourself, be real, show real emotions, and stay away from these politicians that are going to divide us and hurt you later on during a trial.
Deliberate to prevent you from helping this family. And I want
Absolutely,
you to
Cindy.
give overwhelming support to show them the community united can never.
That's a good point. Mr. Smith says, well, the video saved Rittenhouse. Absolutely, because in the video, you see him running away. He's not even standing his ground. He's running away. He's being chased. He's being forced to the ground. You can clearly see on the video the guy with the skateboard coming down on top of his head. He fires a shot. The second guy kind of comes around, pulls out a weapon. It's all caught clear as day on camera. So you're absolutely right, Mr. Smith. Agent Smith.
Can never.
There are rumors that a video does exist of this altercation, but right now it's just rumors. Don't go around quoting me, but from what I've seen, there may be a video of the altercation.
Be divided. And I'm going to say this again, and this is for everybody.
I agree.
Black people in America.
We don't need that.
While the current occupant...
If it wasn't for people like this, America wouldn't have needed somebody like Donald Trump. You know what I mean? The only reason that America begged for somebody like a Donald Trump, and you have like the whole MAGA stuff, was because America was turning into this, just this weird, emotional, political, like empire. It was really disgusting. And America was just sick of it. We just want truth. We don't want political correctness. That's it. You can have your beliefs and you can be who you want to be, but just do it in an honest and straightforward way. That's all we ask. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so.
Sits at 1600 Pennsylvania. Black people in America don't have to pull the race card. It's what we live as a reality every day. It's what we have to teach our children. We don't want to, but we have to. We don't like to, but if we want to sleep at night, we got to. I ain't pulling no race card. I live it. I'm reminded all the time that I'm a black man in America. And what y'all just showed to Judge Tucker is just reminded that hate and bigotry and racial reconciliation in this country.
Like, I understand what he's saying because it's true. If you go on to like X or any social media, you can see the bigotry, you can see the racism, but it's really not dominating the airwaves, right? You're going to have trolls no matter what. You're going to have racism. You're going to have political dissidents and people that are just out there to specifically troll and annoy and hurt. They're like terrorists that use social media as their tool of destruction. Why is he addressing those people? What about addressing the facts, addressing just basically keeping it real about what actually happened? Focusing on the facts. I don't understand why he's basically mad about what people said about him on X. And he's using this to put that on full display. And it's really bizarre.
We have respected the process. I believe that Austin
Definitely,
Metcalf
Jason,
is about
definitely.
to have his funeral. And I wouldn't dare.
Looks like a
Even
Johnny
with the
Depp fan.
information I know, and
Good
plenty
to see you,
people
Fishy.
can share that and all that, but we have prevented from speaking about that in these type of public forums. It will come out. They have a more than well capable attorney, and this family will go through a process of being able to get prepared for this trial. So I just say this real quick. This is our final time speaking to public and holding a press conference regarding this particular case. Now, the Next Generation Action Network
Oh my
will
God.
talk about
The Next Generation Action Network. Like, what is this guy talking about? I'm here. Let me play a quick little video from behind the scenes. And then I'm going to go take a quick restroom break. Let's see. Here it is.
People watching right now, a teen stabbed in the chest at a high school track meet. For the first time since the stabbing happened and the arrest, we heard from the family of the teen charged with murder and out of jail right now on bond.
Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a two-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do.
An emotional statement there from the mom of the suspect, Lauren Crawford, joining us live right now from that press conference. Lauren, the father of the victim also showed up to hear them speak. Tell us more about that.
Hi, good morning, Carmen. That's right. And it was a tense situation. The father of Austin Metcalf showed up to that press conference and then was escorted out by police. So let's remind everyone how this all got started. Police say 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a track meet earlier this month. Metcalf died at the track meet, and witnesses told police it happened after an argument between the two, and Anthony claims it was self-defense. That brings us to the press conference. Jeff Metcalf was seen wearing sunglasses and talking on his phone at times while waiting for the family of Carmelo Anthony to speak. Dallas police showed up and Metcalf was asked to leave. Officers told him that he would be charged with trespassing if he did not leave. He told CBS News Texas he thought it would be an opportunity for the two families to come together in a productive way. Here's Carmelo's mother once the press conference resumed.
In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 young children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. Our son deserves
What's up?
the
None of my
same
business.
rights
None of your business.
under the law that everyone is afforded to.
Now, Anthony's family says that they have not used the money raised for his defense to buy an $800,000 home, an Escalade, hire a private security, and any GoFundMe in their son's name was fraudulent. So the couple said that they have just been able to apply for access to funds raised for them on Give Sit Go. That's where all the money that was raised was going to. It kind of acts like a GoFundMe account. But this stabbing case has really drawn nationwide attention. We have online fundraisers for both families, Metcalf and Anthony, that have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. But police are working with each family to make sure that safety is a top priority as this case and soon-to-be trial continues.
I also heard that all of the GoFundMes that were out there were fraudulent, but somehow they were able to take all the money that was raised and put it into one single account. And eventually that money will be given to Carmelo Anthony's family, which seems fair. Agent Smith, he copied the name almost directly off another high-profile advocacy group, National Action Network. He just added the G, National Action Network Group. Yeah, next somebody's going to have the Sleuth Intuition True Crime Channel. I'm not a big Freddie fan. I used to be, till I kind of realized he was a chomo. So technically he's the worst of the evils. I roll with Michael Myers too, especially on Halloween. Big Fish says, screw Freddy. Yeah, screw Freddy. So I don't know, guys. We haven't heard the last of the Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony saga. It's like one of those things that's kind of taken a life of its own.
Especially following.
Okay, now on to some other breaking news. Pope Francis dead at 88 years old, just the day after Easter Sunday. I'm pretty sure that J.D. Vance assassinated him. He wasn't willing to make a deal. Jason says, not touching this case with a 10-foot pole, was here for the chat. Sleuth Crew Network. Yeah, there's a channel out called the Sleuth Crew. Like, what? I almost changed the channel name to Sleuth Crew. I might one day. Kind of has a ring to it. Neither one went to school where it happened. Nope. It's kind of like a sports complex under the rules of the school. You know, same rules apply there. But neutral ground for both boys. Sam, what I'm hearing is this interview is a lot of the teaching of Malcolm X. There is a lot of misinformation being said in that interview. I don't know. There's two sides to Malcolm X. When he died, really, he was a conservative. Diamonds in the building. JD is the Grim Reaper. Laugh out loud. Who is he visiting next? He literally met with the Pope and the Pope died. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'm pretty sure JD Vance is Donald Trump's assassin. They had an awkward meeting too. Very weird. Yep. There you go, Dark Side. You should play the Dominique Alexander arrest news videos. Honestly, I've had enough of that guy. You know, I don't think I could listen to him speak for another minute. Shelly, if you're 88 and washed people's feet all day, that would do you in. Yeah, he probably got the hantavirus. Smelly astosis. Shelly said, don't even joke like that. Yeah, that is kind of messed up. That's not funny. JD didn't kill the Pope. Yeah, people might actually think I'm being serious. But it's just weird. He was alive and well yesterday. He even met with the vice president, Vance, and he was talking with him. Vance told him, hey, it's good to see that you're in better health. I know that you've been struggling. You're looking better. And then now this morning, he passed away. It's crazy. Kind of makes Vance look like an assassin.
Especially following Easter Sunday, with word of Pope Francis has died. The 88-year-old pontiff had been hospitalized since February 14th when he was.
And why is he making upside down crosses? Anybody ever notice that?
The 88-year-old pontiff had been.
Like, these are upside down crosses.
Hospitalized since February 4th.
Like, why is he doing that? Talking aloud in Sleuth chat. Why do people take everything to heart? I don't know. Somebody posted a Delphi, Evansdale, Are They Connected video and said it was disgusting. Reckless and disgusting.
Pope Francis was the first pope from the American.
You guys ever seen Addams Family 2? When Uncle Fester becomes domesticated? I'm pretty sure he's wearing the same suit.
Americas, and then before becoming the leader of the Catholic Church, he had served both as Archbishop and Cardinal for more than 12 years.
Jerry.
So, people around the world will remember Pope Francis as a humble man that did not forget the less fortunate. Lauren Green takes a look back at his life and the legacy he leaves behind.
Did you guys ever see the Russell Crowe movie? I think it's called The Pope. Or no, The Pope's. Oh, damn, what the hell is the name of that movie? It's like a horror movie. The Pope's Exorcist or something like that. I definitely recommend you guys go and see that. If you guys like scary movies, that movie is fucking terrifying.
The white smoke filled the air over the Vatican in March.
Not to mention Russell Crowe is just an awesome actor.
Of 2013, it signaled Pope Francis had been elected to lead the Catholic Church. And almost from that moment, he signaled changes were coming. The first pontiff from Latin America. The first Jesuit. The first to call himself Francis.
Jesuit. Uh-oh. Here comes the conspiracy theorists. Wabbit. The Pope's Exorcist. There you go. Terrifying movie.
Be just a few of the new beginnings. Born Jorge Bergoglio in Buenos Aires on December 17, 1936, to Italian immigrant parents. He was the oldest of 5. The future Pope's father, Mario, worked for the railway, and his mother, Regina Savori, stayed at home. As a student, he had a variety of jobs, including working as a bouncer in a bar. In 1958, Bergoglio entered the Society of Jesus,
Fucking
the
bouncer.
Jesuits. He graduated with a degree in philosophy from the College of San Jose and San Miguel, and later taught literature and psychology. He was ordained a priest in 1969.
Jari says, you know about the prediction with him being the last pope. Can't remember much about it. No, but I'm interested. I like prophecy and stuff like that. It interests me. I was wondering with Easter and 420 and I wonder if there's any prophecies out there.
In 1992, Pope John Paul II appointed him a bishop. 6 years later, he became Archbishop of Buenos Aires, a culturally diverse and economically challenged community. 3 years later, he was elevated to cardinal, where he was known for taking public transportation instead of a private car. When Pope John Paul II died in 2005, he was among the cardinals who elected the German Joseph Ratzinger. He became.
I always thought this guy looked evil as shit. He always had like these red eyes. His eyes were always bloodshot. Let's catch up on the chat real quick. I know there was something about it. Can't remember either. She wore wine about the Delphi Evansdale live. I did. It's like, man, we do our thing over here on the channel. We don't need permission. We don't have to permission to go at all. So no. Diamonds, yes, I went down the last Pope rabbit hole. Okay, tell us a little bit about that. Like what are the basic, what's the basic foundation for that prophecy or whatever you want to call it? Is anybody else having issues with the sound coming in and out? It might be me. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, that might help.
Benedict XVI. 8 years later, the unthinkable. Benedict became the first pope in nearly 600 years to resign, sending shockwaves throughout not just Catholicism, but all around the world. For Benedict's successor, the cardinals chose the 76-year-old Bergoglio. It was a surprise to most, but not his fellow cardinals.
We spoke about him often because he was widely known and respected.
Always setting the example of his own philosophy that servants of the church should be humble and lead simpler lives. He paid his own bill at the hotel where he stayed during the conclave and turned down the palatial papal quarters in favor of a more modest residence at the Vatican. He also began speaking frankly about modern issues, famously saying, "Who am I to judge?" when asked about the sexual orientation of priests. During Holy Week ceremonies, he shocked traditionalists by washing the feet of women and non-Catholics. For his first international...
I was like, what the hell? The look on his face. Like, why is he kissing the feet?
Women and non-Catholics.
He's like, oh yeah, I love feet.
For his first international trip, the Holy Father traveled to his native continent, South America, visiting Brazil.
People are acting like he's God. Look at this guy right here. He's like, oh my God, he touched me.
Traveled to his native continent, South
The look on his face.
America, visiting Brazil, the world's most Catholic country, for World Youth Day. Celebrating Mass before 3 million people on Rio de Janeiro's famed Copacabana beach. Passionate about the environment, his signature encyclical Laudato Si outlined how global warming hurts the less fortunate around the world. He took a pilgrimage to North America, first stopping in Cuba, saying Mass to thousands.
At the home of the brave.
Then on to the United States, addressing a joint session of Congress and visiting with President Barack Obama at the White House. In New York, he spoke before the United Nations General Assembly and held Mass at Madison Square Garden.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
In the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia,
let's see, Saint Malachi's prophecy. All right, now we're cooking with fire. Oh wow, popped right up. Saint Malachi's prophecy of the last pope. Okay, let's see what we got here. According to the prophecy of the popes attributed to Saint Malachi, the last pope will be named Peter the Roman. This pope's reign is said to precede the destruction of Rome and the end of the world. The prophecy lists 112 popes, with Peter the Roman being the final one. Isn't he Pope Francis? Let's see. Here's a more detailed breakdown. The prophecy, Saint Malachi, a 12th century Irish saint, is said to have had a vision of all future popes, culminating in a final pope named Peter the Roman. Timing. The prophecy suggests that Peter the Roman will be the final pope, and his reign will end with the destruction of Rome and the end of the world. Current interpretation that Pope Francis is the pope, and that Peter the Roman refers to the final pope in the prophecy, according to a recent article in U.S. Catholic Relevance. The prophecy, often discussed in the context of the end times and the coming of the Antichrist, although some scholars believe it to be a 16th century forgery. Well, there you have it.
Attended the World Meeting of the Families Festival and met privately with victims of
Tony,
sex
what
abuse.
up?
Francis also defended Islam while condemning the terror group ISIS. In the wake of the deadly terror attacks on Christmas in Egypt, Francis traveled
Thank
to
you,
Cairo,
Jari.
extending the hand of fellowship to Muslims. Francis also became the first pope to visit Iraq on March 5, 2021. On his trip, he met with Iraq's top Ayatollah and urged peace.
Something tells me the Ayatollah wasn't having it. Look at this guy. He's like, fuck the Pope. He's like, hell no. We ain't having it, Pope. He's like all in black. It's like black and white. Yin and yang over here.
Top Ayatollah and urged peace. At the age of 84, his health started to decline. First undergoing surgery to remove part of his colon for what the Vatican described as a planned procedure, and later suffering from a small fracture in his knee. During a trip to Canada, the Pope required the help of a wheelchair and walker, telling reporters he could no longer travel like he used to and may possibly retire one day.
What's up, Lynn?
In late 2022, his predecessor, Pope
Okay, is that official? Irreversible heart failure was determined. Yikes.
Benedict died, marking the end of an unprecedented
Good to see
nine-year-long
you.
arrangement of two popes living side by side in the Vatican gardens. Pope Francis presided over Benedict's funeral and said losing Benedict felt like he had lost a dad. Francis continued to battle opposition as he worked to make the Catholic Church more inclusive. He said he welcomed the criticism because it meant there was freedom to speak. His priestly motto had always been a Latin phrase that recognizes God's mercy and sovereignty, a sentiment that guided his ministry and will now be his
Thanks,
legacy. In New York, Lauren Green, Fox News.
Well, there you have it. The last pope. It's the end of the world. All right, what else we got here? What else? Have you guys ever heard of a YouTube channel called True Crime Case Files? I think it's been taken down now. Untold stories, new episodes every day. This is an old photo. I think they took it down when it was like at 100 and something subscribers. All right, Jari, I'll take a look. Mafia infiltrated the Vatican. I saw in Godfather Part 3. I thought it was the Illuminati. Then the other angel took me up in the sky. His eyes were the universe, very beautiful. Sounds like a miracle. Beth says, no, I haven't heard of it. Well, it was up briefly, I think, towards the end of 2024. And it went viral for stories like this. I mean, look, 95,000 views in 2 days. It ended up with 2 million. Wife murdered after discovering husband's secret life. So here it is. Husband's secret gay love affair with stepson ends in grisly murder. 657,000 views in 5 days. This is the one that ended up with 2 million. Sorry. It's just kind of a random story. I think I have a video. Check this out.
This week, millions of views online. Only one problem. It's totally false. Our Kelly Renke talked to a district attorney who's worried AI technology could impact real cases.
True Crime Case Files brands itself on YouTube as a go-to spot for true crime content. The concept caught on quickly, more than 85,000 subscribers in less than 1 year. There were 200,000 views on a video about a jealous husband in Fort Collins who killed his wife in 2019. That caught the attention of the county's top prosecutor.
Where in the world did this come from?
Larimer County's district attorney.
This guy, County Prosecutor McLaughlin, he's like you can tell he's a true crime enthusiast. He's like, what the hell? This is my turf. I don't remember this shit.
Gordon McLaughlin says this true crime doc is totally fake.
Definitely not a real case, not based on a real case, not even remotely similar to any real cases. Totally pulled out of thin air.
The video is among more than 100 others on the channel that appear to be made using AI. A program creates 25-minute films, uses the same few still images, and a narrator to tell the story. And below the videos are hundreds of comments from people convinced they're true.
If people start
That's
distrusting reports of crimes, that might mean people start distrusting real victims of crimes.
DA McLaughlin worries how fake crimes can impact real ones.
So anything that's spread this widely and then people find out they've been duped and it's not real, that sows distrust in the entire system.
In a courtroom, his job is to convince
Yes,
the jury
Lynn,
that evidence
all
proves
AI,
someone is
all of
guilty of a
it.
crime without a doubt. But what if people start questioning the pictures and videos they see?
So AI changing photos, changing videos, creating whole photos and videos out of thin air,
super grimy.
That can really impact our ability to have a jury trust us.
Another video got almost 2 million views about a murder in Littleton. The police department said the case is totally made up. Fake stories on this channel are being posted almost every single day.
They can just scam more people and trick more people.
District attorneys in Colorado tell me they haven't heard
It's
of
wild,
other
huh?
channels like this, but this technology.
I wonder how many people are out there are just kind of running like a hoax channel or something like that. So I thought that was interesting. AI, man, something we're going to have to be dealing with. What about the prophecy of AI gods? You guys ever heard of that? According to time travelers who have come from the future back to our time, say that in the future, supercomputers will be ruling the world under, they'll be controlling the entire world. To me, that kind of reminds me of the Terminator. Sleuth, please do not start using AI to make your videos. Well, the good thing is like you can kind of tell, but it's going to get scary when you can't tell. Like everything AI kind of has a patina to it. Like I think I watched a Jelly Roll Snoop Dogg video. I think it's called Last Dance with Tom Petty. Not I wouldn't call myself big on 420, but a supporter for sure. I live in Arizona where it's been legalized, so. Yeah, AI is definitely helpful, but as far as creating videos and things like that, there's just like I said, there's a certain patina to it. Oh yeah, Lawnmower Man, that's a great movie. I think there's a sequel to that too. Oh yeah, I loved that movie. Kind of similar to the movie Cell with J-Lo. It's another good one. AI. I don't know. We'll probably have a one world government before we have an AI president or Lorgal. Maybe it'll be on because isn't he like really just a cyborg? All right. So before we get into Wild Adventures with Michael and into the Delphi case, I do have a creep alert. Bear with me. I need to pull up a few things here. Some visual aids. All right. So this guy's name is Dacus King. So Dacus King here, as of this morning, from Pickens County, South Carolina, the Pickens County Sheriff's Office said a man on a popular social media app has been charged for child sex crimes after officials were tipped off. So I went through 4 to 5 different reports on this guy, and all they say is a popular social media app. So I kept thinking to myself, why wouldn't you provide the actual name of the app? See, deputies did not mention what the app was. But after searching Dacus King, you can see the different Dacus King, Dacus King. I real app is book. Look at this. Maybe I should zoom in a little. It says look outdoors. So super creepy dude. So I'm pretty sure it's Facebook. Let's see here. Let's go to another one. This guy really likes his abs. So I thought it was strange. Nobody just say it was Facebook. Look up the guy, you can tell in different profile. They're all photos of his. He's obviously using Facebook to solicit. So that was today's creep alert. Now, if you guys haven't heard of a YouTube channel called Wild Adventures with Michael, make sure you guys go check it out.
There's a couple YouTubers that do.
They did give me permission a while ago to air this footage. This is them going across the bridge, going down the hill, crossing the creek, going to the crime scene, and popping up somewhere near the cemetery. So I figured we'd watch this and kind of talk about the case. But make sure you guys go subscribe to their channel. Wild Adventures with Michael.
There's a couple YouTubers that do it like all the time and walked over here and made videos, and then they do like guesses or who they think might have been the killer. And I just want to tell this right now. I don't think this guy has left this area.
So Michael's kind of giving his prediction about who committed this crime, and he's actually spot on.
I really don't think he has.
He's saying he hasn't left the area.
I think he's actually from around here. I mean, he's known the bridge. I mean, is there that chance that that guy was just some dude from another state? And
look how overgrown everything is right here.
and he decided to and yes, we walked all the way from there to back here. But they, like, some people think he came from another state. That's the private road.
So we're not in the private road.
See, and even then it looks disturbed. You see that? I'm wondering if that's just caused by the deer. You know, it's just an animal trail. Because they do cross the creek. They probably go down this hill right here, and they go right across the creek up into Ron Logan's property. I've actually been sent a video of somebody actually captured from the crime scene deer crossing right there. So I know that they do walk that trail.
That's the private road.
So we're not in the private road.
Well, see where it says posted no trespassing. But people believe that, you know, this guy might have been from another state. I just doubt it, man. What are the chances of some dude just stopping at Delphi to walk, and then he just happens to see this? Is it a possibility? Yes.
So he's getting really good footage of like this back area.
Is that likely the outcome? Man, I doubt it. I mean,
thanks, Jerry.
Because even if he made the girls walk, and then somewhere around here, he says down the hill, and their bodies end up right on the other side of this creek, off of over there. I mean, the guy has had to have known this area.
See, there looks like a ravine right here. And there is a deer stand somewhere over here. So that has to be a game trail, because there's a deer stand somewhere right over here, right on that trail.
Yeah, man. Oh, shoot. Hang on, guys. I'm sorry about that. Okay, they're just letting us know that when we're on our way back to text them. I don't want to get too close, guys.
All right, and as you can see back here, it looks like you can see, I don't know what that is, an SUV maybe? Maybe the van, but I see something else over here.
This is somebody's property, but this is pretty much where, like,
Oh yeah, that's the van right back here.
and but it's up to Jacob if you want to. Hurry up.
I'm down.
Go across this, kind of get by that creek.
So this is Michael and Jacob.
And I can't use my phone to pop up the actual location. Where the bodies were. I mean, I kind of got a hunch, but guys, just kind of work with us. We're just kind of going off. Yeah, kind of going off memory. But I know one of the YouTubers, he was talking. I mean, the chances of this guy making these girls walk down this steep hill is kind of odd. Really, that would kind of make sense. only because look, they can put their hands there, or he can put his hands there. Like if this guy came right here, and actually, matter of fact, I'm gonna walk over here. It's gonna be safer. But I mean, the chances of this guy actually making these girls walk down there, like the one YouTuber said, there's no way that guy would walk down there. I mean, and he looked like he was a pretty big guy. So if he did that, I mean, he'd fall, he'd get hurt, and there's no way he's gonna hurt him. I mean, because if his intentions are to hurt the girls, the chances of him hurting himself is not likely. You all right? Okay, and as you can see that sign, guys, we're really not supposed to be here, but we're YouTubers. We like checking out the unknown. We just want to get a call before somebody comes. Anyways, real quick, this is that private road that cars and stuff can drive or can't drive on because somebody owns it. But here's part of the bridge. I mean, this guy had to know this area. Had to.
So you brought him over here?
No, I'm just walking down over here.
It might be easier to go down there.
Yeah, and so because the house. Like afternoonish, we're like 5-ish.
Like someone's probably getting ready to sleep.
Now, when did he kill the two girls? I am not too sure because I know the next day. Oh, back to more questions. I was watching a video of one of the girls' moms, and I know it was getting dark out, and they decided to call it off. But I think that really made a huge impact in those girls' fate. I really feel like, yes, it is very unsafe at night here, but hands down, if they would have continued that search.
So I'm pretty sure this is where Richard Allen was hoping to take the girl, somewhere down over here. Can you guys see my mouse? That's probably where he took them over there and was hoping to have privacy.
There probably would have been more hope for the girls because their bodies were found, over in that area, general area. But I mean, I really feel like if somebody or they kept searching, the chances of them finding him, because that's not too far, as you guys can see.
And if you guys want to watch this video uninterrupted, the YouTube channel is Wild Adventures with Michael. And they have a lot of stuff on the Delphi case. At one point, they went out to the Deer Creek right there by the crime scene. And I think they were scuba diving and using metal detectors and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty interesting.
That is not too far. And I really do think that played a huge impact.
Okay, so here's a good view right here. So if Richard Allen was down here with the girls, let me see if I can get a better view here. So look how high the private drive is. So if the girls are down here and they're yelling up, there's no way that Brad Weber is going to be able to see them down here. And this is where I think they were, right down here. And they could have even been yelling at the van like, help, help. And this would have pretty much blocked the sound. And if he has the windows up and he's listening to the radio, he may not have heard them. But that could have given Libby or Abby an opportunity to run. And you can see the tire tracks down there. I mean, vehicles go down there. I mean, you can literally see the tire tracks, guys. See them?
But this is part 2, guys. We were just over there, and now we're here. I know some of the locals are probably going to see this video and not like where we're at. So I just kind of want to get this off the table. If you happen to be watching this video and this is your property, I apologize. We are not here to damage anything. This is just here for the girls.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think this is closer to where I think Richard Allen brought them. Remember, the phone it stopped moving at about 2:32, I believe, 2:34. So down the hill at 2:15, 2:20, they're here at this location. So he's right here with the girls for about 7 minutes. And I think this is the exact location right here. So there's no way that Brad Weber can see. I mean, look how tall this cliff face is right here. That's a good 30 feet, maybe more. And the van would have been on top of that area. So let's go back. Yeah, here's a good view right here. So the van would have been up here. And Richard Allen and the girls would have been down in this area.
If you're watching this video and this is your property, I apologize. We are not here to damage anything. This is just here for the girls.
Yeah, I think this is the exact location right here.
So
they followed this path
I know I'm
to
definitely
right
not in
here.
the right general area.
Because you can't go any further.
I know.
See that corner back here? This is like a choke point. You would have to cross a small creek that goes into the Weber property. There's like a fishing hole back here. And then also right down here where they're going, there is a table and a fire pit. They don't really capture it while they're walking through here, but on the way out of here, they're gonna zoom in on it. And they're gonna cross the creek, go through the crime scene, and pop up at the top on the other side. And as they're leaving the area, they're gonna zoom down right here where they are now later on in the video. And there's like a little area where you can tell people camp and fish. There's like a little fish table there. Richard Allen mentioned he loves to fish. So this would be a perfect area. You would cross, right? You would cross the bridge with your fishing pole, go down the hill, cross the private drive, kind of sneak through there, and make your way right here to this fishing hole.
Bodies were found.
So in my opinion, it would make sense that Richard Allen would try to bring them down here. So if he's been fantasizing about one of these days doing exactly what he ended up doing, this would have been the location he would be thinking of. And he might be familiar with it because of he may have been down there fishing in the past.
Not too far from over here from people usually say the graveyard, which I don't think they're wrong. I was hoping we got lucky and we could cross this so we don't have to go over.
So right across this creek is the crime scene, and to the left is the table that I was referring to in the campsite.
The bridge, but
Jill says, yeah,
if
people
anything,
camp
we'll
there.
just keep following it.
Yeah, it looks like there's sticks down there from our house.
But
Richard probably did realize how close that was getting caught and decided to go ahead and do it. I'm not sure he planned to kill them.
But
I think he thought the gun would be enough.
here we are, walking along this area. And this
Oh, I saw some sticks. I don't know. I think it's possible that Richard Allen already got what he wanted. See, there's a fire pit right there. You see it? See this fire pit? Like, who's down here camping right here by the fire? You see this? Somebody's literally camping right across from the crime scene. It's fucking weird. Like, who is this? Whose campsite is this? See it? Right there. It's a fire pit. Or a rune. Dun dun dun.
But here we are, walking along this area. And this place is beautiful. It's surrounded by tragic, but if anybody has a chance just to walk to Delphi, or not walk to Delphi, don't walk there. Yeah, come to Delphi and then just walk on this trail. Yeah, it's really peaceful, beautiful. I think that's the sad part about this is the tragic of these two girls. You know what? My feet's getting wet and I don't have extra shoes, but I don't care. This is worth it. I mean, this is completely worth it, especially for these.
So you guys are listening to Michael. That's Michael from Wild Adventures with Michael, and I believe that's one of his crew members. I think his name is Jacob, and he's wearing cowboy boots with no socks, I believe.
These girls.
They didn't plan to cross the creek, but I think once they came down here, they were like, let's do it. So a lot of people ask, why the hell would Richard Allen do this, do that? I mean, these guys did it. Why the hell would they do it? Obviously, it's not that bad.
Just let me know the time by the bench. Oh, sorry about the music, guys. We're just getting updated. I forgot my talkies in the car, so we'll get a little wet downstream, but I think it'll be fun and it'll be cool for the viewers to see.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. So shout out to them. But just look how shallow this is, guys. At the deepest point, you're going to see it's about maybe 3 feet, and that's being generous.
Again, guys are on Google Maps, but right around these general area, is definitely.
So this is the area we would have had to cross over right here.
Yeah.
Right there.
More.
I think this is right where they went up. I believe Libby's clothing was found maybe right here or a little ways to the right, but I'm pretty sure this is where they went up. So you can see that there's kind of probably where the deer cross. They kind of eroded the embankment down a little bit right here.
I think over here. You know, if we cross, we could take at least a walk over there. I don't want to pop my video up only because I don't want to lose this one. But see, guys, look at this. My feet, these aren't waterproof. That's water is cold.
Dude, I bet.
But
My feet too.
I'm having fun. I told everybody I was probably gonna get wet on this adventure.
More shorts.
I told you, dude.
Hey, when I played smart, I wore boots, not waterproof.
That's right. Since we're here, we're just gonna kind of
Strong ass print. I ain't going on that.
skipping it. Yeah, that's very strong. Anyways, let's check this out. We're surrounded by water, but it's beautiful. Yeah, man, that's deep. That's deep, which we kind of knew that deep down. I think we did. We just wanted to do this for the fun of it. Yeah, it's really deep right here. I was hoping it would shallow off, but
This is gonna get fun. I'm gonna get wet.
do you want to do this?
Halfway there.
I think once we get here.
Don't be a chicken.
It's gonna go up in my boot.
Dude, if you want to, you might have to kind of roll up your pant legs, like shorts. Oh, sorry, you got look at that. 2 cameras, baby.
Every time I'm doing this.
Again, beautiful Delphi. Checking out Abby and Libby again because this is awesome.
I think this was on their end.
Hey, you know what? I gotta get this. See, look at Jakey here. Look at that, man. Oh well, he's taking one for the team. And here we go.
How high up does
Take
it
it
go?
easy on that current, bro. That's power. Look at this, guys. You good? Don't.
So look how shallow all this is. You know, during an emergency, crossing this would be nothing.
Easy.
My damn boot, bro.
Oh, dude, he's holding my hand. Easy. We're good. Just kind of.
Maybe 2 feet right there, maybe at the most.
Don't let that current.
I'm not, but I'm gonna need a new pair of socks after this.
Hey, that's gonna be our best bet.
All right,
Because that's pretty deep. All right. Take it easy. Remember, man.
we should have thrown the damn shoes.
So it'd be somewhere like
that-
this where probably the girls were running across the creek with their clothes in their hands after being forced to disrobe. Here comes the van. The girls say, "This is our chance to run." They take off running. They probably get to somewhere like right around here in this depth and drop the clothing. You know, they're slipping around. The current's knocking them over. They're fighting with the bridge guy. And I'm pretty sure that's why they found Libby's clothing somewhere nearby, kind of caught up on some sticks like you see right here to the left of the screen.
It's going to be slick. It's
You know, kind of caught up on something like that.
not completely warm out, so hyperthermia still exists over here. Be careful. That green stuff's very slick.
And if you hear what Michael's saying, he's saying that there's a lot of moss. He's saying that green stuff is very slick. So that's most likely caused them all to fall, including Richard Allen.
I got you. We're close. We're close. Yeah,
You owe me a
dude.
new pair of socks. I'm saying that much right now. You owe me a new fucking pair of socks.
All right, guys.
All right, you want to see how much water's in this?
You just saw. You
You owe me a
guys.
new pair of fucking socks,
You guys
asshole.
just saw. Guys, we just got here too, by the way. Oh,
You owe me a pair of socks.
I do. We need to find a local. Well, there's a. What is there? Save-a-lots. All right. We are crossed.
We're going to take a show.
I tell you what, man. We could have definitely probably figured out a better plan for that.
Yeah.
For sure. But.
All right, I'm rolling with that right now.
oh,
Hold it.
oh, God.
So you can get me on camera rolling up. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't think I caught Jacob, but dude, guys, he about fell into the water. That current, man. Everybody saw Jake. He's a little twig, man.
You don't know what the fuck's in there, bro. That put a waste to my insoles. So,
Tristan's gonna love this.
I'm gonna strangle people. Okay, so next time we're coming here, we're going scuba diving, man.
Oh, guys, that was actually supposed to be.
Oh crap!
Yeah,
My bad.
that's yeah.
We can edit that out.
Yeah, that was supposed to be what do you call it?
Hold on. Let me go back, give you guys a good idea of the embankment they would have had to climb up. You see that? So here there's like a path. You can kind of see most likely where the game trail is. Probably just come and go all day, back and forth. And I'm sure those deer cross that creek every day, probably every morning.
My bad.
But let's go a little bit further back. So they would have crossed more over here. But you can see how steep that is. If somebody was chasing you, you would definitely get caught right here. So what probably happened was he captured. So he probably caught Abby right here, forcing Libby to stop. Like, if you don't stop, I'm going to hurt your friend. She stops up here on the hill, completely with no clothes on. Richard Allen and Abby kind of make their way up and meet her. He probably tied Abby up against a tree, or, you know, blindfolded her, or did the whole like Blair Witch thing. Like, you go stand over here, don't face us. I'm just wondering if he actually caught up to them. Maybe they both successfully made it up over this edge while he's kind of slipping around all drunk. And finally, he kind of catches up to them right where they were found. And that's why the bullet is there. He catches up to them and threatens them again with the gun. Cycles another round in, leaving one at the crime scene. And I think he must have separated them at some point.
Guys, that was actually supposed to be.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
My bad.
That's
We can edit that out.
Yeah, that was supposed to be
Cyber Warrior says, I can't see Ron Logan or Keegan Kline climbing up the embankment. I couldn't see them, or KK or TK, but I could see them coming down the cemetery hill and waiting right here. Let's say they're standing right here. And it was Richard Allen's idea. Like, hey, we'll just force him over that creek. Like, I can do it. everybody will think that they want to cross the bridge on the south side. Everybody will be looking for them on the south end. But if we double back and force them across the creek, nobody will expect that. So if you're planning out a crime, that actually makes sense, right? And I mean, these guys are crossing that creek in much colder weather. Well, probably not, according to the foliage. So it's probably a little bit warmer. But I mean, they're just doing it for fun.
What do you call that? A surprise? But
Yeah.
that's definitely gonna have to be edited out. Now, Jacob, now we gotta make this impossible freaking walk. You know what? I think it'd be easier if we just go that way.
Yeah, Tristan's gonna have to edit that part out. I didn't realize we were still recording.
Yeah, dude, I recorded the whole thing.
Yeah, he said that he knew Dan McCain. But it was Dave McCain who was seen, was the flannel shirt guy seen by Derek German around 3:14 leaving the bridge area. I just found it kind of strange that he helped tear down the shack, right, on the trails, the shack that's right there by the crime scene. Like, what is that all about? Sometime around 2011. And then we have Dave McCain at the scene of the crime. Dave and Dan. I think Dan was somewhere close by as well. But it's just weird that he brings up the McCain name, talks about the shack while he's being interrogated for a double murder. And then those guys actually were there at the scene between 2 and 4 on record. You know, I'm just seeing a pattern. I'm not accusing anybody. But I mean, isn't that strange? Nobody cares about that? Okay, moving on.
Oh, spider web.
Come here. I'll go for sandals.
All right, we're still recording. We're about 30 minutes in.
How am I supposed to two girls walk across that without going in it?
See, that's another question, man. Did he really make those girls walk across that and then walk across that water, including himself?
Anybody can get taken away with that on that front.
Okay, so the girl's doing exactly what he's doing. In comes Madman, the floppy fish, Richard Allen, you know, the ex-military guy. He comes stomping up that embankment, catches up to the girls right here, somewhere in this area.
Barbed wire.
It's down right there. Barbed wire's down right there.
But around this area, like I said, guys, I don't have Google Maps. But I think if we keep walking down here, we'll come across it. But I don't want to go too far.
We still gotta get over there.
Yeah.
Well, if we find a path,
But
be a path.
Let's go to Beth Gonzalez. But would Richard Allen have taken the girls over there if Weber hadn't driven down the drive? That I don't know. Like, it could have been part of a plan, but most likely, I think it wasn't his idea. I think the girls, well, specifically Libby, she's familiar with that area. She knows that there's the sandbar there and that the water's shallow, and that her ride is going to be picking her up on that side of the creek. You know, and there's no way that she's going to drag Abby back across that bridge. You know, that's not part of the plan. That's how he caught up to them in the first place. So she's trying to get to where her ride is expecting her to be, and all she has to do is go through the shallow water. I think that it may have been her idea. Like, here comes the van. Richard Allen's, you know, he's kind of startled. He starts getting paranoid. The girls scream for help. He panics, maybe tries to grab one of the girls. They kind of fight him off momentarily and take off running. They pick up all their clothes that's on the ground. Like, now they're naked with a pile of clothing in their arms. And some of it ends up in the creek. We know that Abby's pants and underwear ended up a little bit downstream. Right there across the Deer Creek, we know that Libby's shoe was there. Abby's jacket was there. And Libby's tie-dye t-shirt was there. So to me, that tells me that Libby still had one of her tennis shoes in her arm, her pair of pants, and her hoodie in her hand. Abby dropped everything except for her shoes and maybe one other item. But her pants and underwear go flying down the creek somewhere and get wedged. Then they make it up over the embankment, but to their surprise, here comes the little floppy fish that we've seen kind of getting rid of that weird, that internal energy flopping around like a fish with Kathy when they're playing pool at the bar. We've all seen that video. We've seen the pent up energy, and I'm assuming he used something very similar to kind of flop his way up over that embankment and was able to catch up to them. I mean, it makes perfect sense. And then he takes control over them with the firearm, leaving the shell, probably tied up one of the girls, turned her away, committed the first assault, which was Libby, turned around, and now he's dealing with one person. That's why everything changes. That's why the crime scene is so odd, because he was dealing with two individuals, and then the very moment that it turns from two individuals to one, that's when the dynamic changes, and it starts to go in a new direction. You have the redressing, which is probably him negotiating with her, and that's why he felt bad. He felt bad about Abby because it was cold-blooded murder. It wasn't in the heat of the moment. He wasn't in some kind of alternate state of mind like he probably was with Libby. I think when it came to Abby, he was making a conscious decision that I don't want to get caught. Remember, he cares what people think about him. He doesn't want anybody to know that he's a deviant monster and just committed a brutal murder. So he had to kill Abby. That's why there's only one slice of the neck as opposed to like the brutal attack that we've seen with Libby.
I know it was fairly close to a gentleman's property. Somewhere around here.
Indy Cindy says, why wouldn't they run to the van? Here, let's see. We're at marker 1449. Let me go show her the embankment. So right here somewhere. Okay, there it was. Okay, so downhill, see this embankment right here? Right there. Shit, I went too far. There it is. Okay, can you see this? This is the private drive up here. The girls would have been down here with Richard Allen. This van is 30 feet above them, down a straight drop-off cliff that's about 30 feet high. And that's, being modest. Not only could the van not see them, how was he going to hear them? Especially if, let's say, he had his windows up and the radio on. So I could see Richard Allen kind of freezing right here while the girls kind of jumped into action. They pick up all their clothing and they take off. Like, come with me. Like, we'll go this way towards the shallow water here. And I think Richard Allen might have even ducked down and tried to hide, kind of listening. Like, what's that vehicle doing? Is it continuing? Is it coming back? And then once he realized that it's just going on about it, about its business, then I think he took off and was able to catch the girls. But yeah, look at that embankment. How is the van going to hear them, let alone see them? All right, let me go back to 14 minutes, 50 seconds.
This whole murder case thing is super confusing. I don't know what. You really don't know what to believe.
I'm tearing out my insoles, bro. There's just water stuck in them.
Why was their clothing off? Exactly. That kind of goes into the motive of Richard Allen. It even feeds into the Anthony Schatz stuff. Right? Anthony Schatz was soliciting images from Libby. And when Libby tried to fool them, they said, Anthony Schatz replied, "These are not nude photos. What are you even good for?" And then a few days later, the girls are being forced to undress. They're being forced to be nude.
Before I get in the car, I'm laying out my feet.
Do whatever you gotta do, brother. Now we have no path. but I'm pretty sure people who's gonna watch this and know this area might know this area for sure.
Yeah, they're like literally in the crime scene right now. I think it's like over here.
And they might be like,
okay, so if you can kind of look over Deer Creek to the private drive, the sticks make a whole lot of sense, right? This is when the sticks start to make sense. So what Richard Allen did, we know that he dragged Libby a short distance. So what he was doing was pulling her behind one of these trees, trying to conceal her. Now, any parts of their bodies that were kind of sticking out from behind that large tree, if you notice, he selected pretty much the largest tree, which might even be this one here. And then he put all of the sticks on this side of their bodies to kind of block them or camouflage them from anybody that might be walking up or driving on the private drive.
oh, you guys passed it. You're right there. Either way,
I think it's possible, Indy. I'm not
let us
sure.
know. And if you guys have any other
But yeah, I think they're like right now, right at the crime scene.
locations that you would like for us to check out, we would.
Ones with less water.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the tree right here. And notice the sticks. So if you killed two people and they're laying right here, and the thought pops in your head, like, and it kind of goes with his paranoia, right? He was just interrupted by a white van. So it only makes sense that he's trying to conceal the bodies from that area, right? He was in the military. He knows, he knows the power of camouflage. All you have to do is kind of interrupt shapes, disrupt the pareidolia, the natural pareidolia. Just disrupt it with some few sticks and people won't even notice, especially at nighttime or from a distance. So he pulled Libby behind this large tree. I'm pretty sure this is it. And right here, there's an indention. So the land kind of rises up right here, and it kind of creates a natural bowl area. I feel like that's where he wanted them, and then put the sticks over the top of them. So their bodies would have been kind of even with the land around them, and the sticks would have appeared to be laying flat. Like, it all makes sense when you're looking at the crime scene and putting it into context with the van startling Richard Allen, right? He's paranoid about this van. He's paranoid. He doesn't want people to find out what he just did. What did he just do? We don't know. He made the girls undress, and then what? Like, what was he doing? Whatever he was doing, he does not want anybody to know. And he's dead. He was deadly serious about that. But whatever he's doing, he's pissed off and he can't control himself.
Yeah.
Preferably.
Listen.
What's up, Carol?
I hear it, dude. I hear it. So.
Put 100% in chat.
We're probably not going to keep walking this way.
Who's Patrick? My name's Patrick. Are you talking about Patrick Westfall? What the fuck are you talking about?
Even though, like I said, we might be close, we might not, but I just want to say we did get across the bridge.
And across the stream.
We got across the stream.
Indy Cindy says, I don't think after his heart attack he was that active. Well, that's not true. In 2018, he's on the top of a mountain. He hiked to the top of this huge summit. We've seen him flopping around like a fish at the pole hall. So I don't want to hear any of that stuff.
And now we're on this side, and we do know for sure that their bodies were discovered around this area. Actually, it wasn't too far off the stream. So we're very close. But we're terribly sorry. We're even more sorry that it's taking this long. But we're giving the authorities and everybody.
It's just funny whenever we get weird trolls that come in, they're like, oh, Sleuth is the bridge guy and blah, it's like they can't even be original. That's all we ask. If you're going to come into the channel and troll, at least have a little bit of originality.
Still credit, but I think it's safe to say from our perspective and everybody else's, it's time. Actually, it's past time. All right, this guy needs to be put away.
Okay, so you can kind of see the trails coming out of here. I'm sure these are made. This is a game trail. But there are trails back there that you can see were kind of carved out through off-roading.
And I honestly, dude, I can't remember. Sorry about that, guys. I know I can't remember. We really worked hard on this first video, but I have done a lot. I've done several places and several videos this in.
One of them dropping me off, let me go on my own.
Yeah, that was great.
That was fun. There was no water in that one.
I've also been looking at more murder mysteries that we got.
Yeah, look at this area. Crazy. Got some good footage back here.
Been looking at more murder mysteries that we got. If we can get full time on YouTube exploring, we can guarantee we can go to these locations. We'll probably talk more about them on a podcast. But I know they're out of state and they're very, 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 very strange. Almost strange like this, I just can't.
Thank you, Jerry.
How a guy from another state came here, man. I feel like he had to know this area.
See, Michael throughout this thing is kind of explaining who he's kind of profiling the killer, and he's like spot on. Hey, BN Mama, sorry I forgot to say hello to you. How are you? Wonder if Kathy Allen will ever talk. I don't know. I don't think she has anything to say. I don't think she knows anything. I think there was a recipe for disaster. I do think that Anthony Schatz was involved. I think it has to do, when I say recipe, I think something happened, changed the trajectory of everything. The death of his brother-in-law affected his wife, and him having a dependent personality disorder, he was in turn affected by that and went searching for attention elsewhere. She kind of checked out, from my understanding. That could have brought him into the arms of somebody like a Richard Allen, or like a, Kagan Klein, looking to date, striking out. Remember, he apologized for he's not going to cheat on his wife anymore. He's not going to do this or that. He's a sex addict. Like, where is this all? When is he living that out? Apparently when he's not with his wife, right? So who's he cheating on her with? Did he attempt to go to the bar with the Kleins, struck out, and then there's Kagan Klein, like, here, you can always check this out. Look at what I've been doing online through social media. Since you struck out at the bar, here, have at it.
A lot. He just had to have. Because even if he did it, what's his escape route? Is he really going to walk all the way back over this stream? Walk all the way across that bridge? Which...
Yeah, these guys got really good footage. Like, I mean, look how high that is. The van would have been right here. The girls would have originally been right down here. There's no way he would have seen them or heard them. But now that you're over here at the crime scene where he is now, you're going to put the sticks to cover the bodies from that area. Because if you're standing right here on the private drive looking for two missing girls, you would be able to see them lying right here. So when you understand what was going through Richard Allen's mind, it makes perfect sense, the sticks, right? We know at the crime scene there was drag marks. He pulled Libby behind the tree where he had strategically killed his second victim already. He purposely killed Abby in the area where he wouldn't have to move her because he had total control over her. But he needed to get Libby out of the sight from that private drive and where that van spooked him. He can't get it out of his head. So therefore, everything's going to be revolving around that, including the stick placement, in my opinion.
Stream, walk all the way across that bridge, which they found him the next day. So either he left at nighttime or he waited out here with the girls. I know it's kind of sad and crazy to say, but and then he waited until daylight. But did he drive out here through the private road, which is kind of not likely because the people who live there, you think they would see the car or somebody would leave, and I believe we were reading, it was a video of one of the women around here, I believe, who actually might live.
Wabbit says, if there were accomplices, thoughts on why he didn't bring them to prison with him? Well, it could have been an agreement. If there were more people involved, let's say the Kleins, hypothetically speaking, came down from the cemetery and hiked down and waited for Richard Allen to bring the girls to them. There could have been a point where it was like, okay, we've killed one girl. Now we're more responsible for this crime than you are, Richard Allen. So we're going to force you to kill Abby, right? He said, I'm sorry for what I did to Abby. But that's the only way to make everybody equal in the crime, which would mean that if he was going to tell on himself or them, he would be telling on himself as well, which in turn would make his wife somebody that married a murderer. And he definitely wants to protect her from being that person.
At the house, and she said something about her son comes out here like every day. And now I'm not saying, I'm pretty sure the police already looked at that. I was like, whoa, wait, red flag. But I mean, and
see, Michael's onto it. He's like, the person that they're looking for lives in Delphi and is familiar with this area. And he's giving us that insight because he's just crossed the creek like the killer did. He knows exactly what this guy's thinking. And he's telling us right now, everything that he's picked up is that this guy was local. And what was Richard Allen? Somebody who was extremely familiar with those trails, with that bridge, loved fishing. So I'm assuming he would be kind of down here looking for a fishing spot. And if he comes down to this location and finds privacy every time, he's going to feel comfortable right there.
I guess she was saying something about if he would have stayed a little longer, he might have seen something. But you just don't know. You really don't. I just kind of want to get to the stream real quick.
What's up, Davey?
I'm not going to stop talking about it.
That's okay, Jacob. You talk about it. And then we're going to head...
Talk about the water in my boot.
We're going to head back.
Let's go to Indy. I'm not trolling. Like, you're allowed to have your own opinions, Indy. Like, I don't care. People come in here all the time. They're like, oh, free Richard Allen. That doesn't bother me. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. We just don't allow trolling. The person that was in here, and we see it almost every day. Somebody comes in and says, Sleuth is the bridge guy. If you zoom in on the footage, you can see the hat. It says Sleuth crew. Oh, it's just stupid. It's not even, there's no originality anymore. That's the most upsetting part of it all. So yeah, as long as you keep it chill, it's all good.
To the other crew. We got a long journey ahead of us. But, yeah, right around here. Maybe.
What's up, J Ray?
But I definitely just want to tribute.
See, this is where they crossed right here. So once again, shout out to Michael and the crew for getting this footage. I mean, it puts everything into perspective. So he would have forced them right here. The girls would have been right here, and he would have been like, take your clothes off. And in my opinion, it's because of an altercation that happened the night before or the days preceding the murder, where the girls were trying to trick this individual, maybe even trying to set him up. Remember, he was into that movie Hard Candy, where the young girl was being stalked online by a predator and then used herself as bait to gain this guy's trust, and then took him hostage. And we have Richard Allen searching that movie 2 weeks before he's arrested. So I don't know if it's some kind of fantasy of his, but either way, I believe that it is tied with the Anthony Shots account. The motivation for forcing them to undress, I think, was to take photographs. And he knew once he was done doing all of that, he could not let the girls live. And I think they knew it too.
Abby and Libby, if you can hear us, you know, we just want to tell you we are truly sorry. And we came here for you. This video is here for you. For sure. I don't know anybody in the family. I don't know anybody in this town, but
Yeah, I think that's the tree right here. It's like a really large based tree.
I'm from Kosciuszko County, and God damn it, I know this story. Every time I read about it, it just makes me sad, makes me emotional, because it's ridiculous.
Originally, when I was younger, I grew up around West Lafayette in a town called Brook.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, Dark Side, but you know, you're going to be prone to denial, because think about it. If you accept the fact that your husband is a killer, that means you're accepting the fact that you're married to a killer, and not just a killer of two young girls who were brutally murdered. You know, that kind of shocked the world, really. That's you now, you know. So if Kathy, she's going to be more prone to denial, like she's going to be looking for anything to cling to. And Richard Allen, the investigative team, gave them enough to cling to as far as probable deniability and reasons to be in denial, right? He met with the investigative team. He tipped himself in after she asked him to, right? Nothing wrong, no red flags here. And that's the only reason he did it. Because if he did, he would have set off some red flags. So the main reason that he came forward was he didn't want to alert his wife. So he had that. You know, every time she was like, "Are you sure that's not you?" Like, "Oh my God, sounds like you. The voice even sounds like you." He's like, "Well, you know, I talk to police. That could be anybody." And a lot of folks out there, that's what they say. Like, "That's not Richard Allen. That could be anybody." They fell for it, just like she did. And then you had the 2019 New Direction presser, where they showed the sketch of a younger looking guy. And why didn't they just show the car? Why didn't they just say, "Hey, anybody driving this vehicle, give us a call"? But instead they say, if you know anybody, the owner of a car that was parked, why didn't they just put that fucking car on the screen right then and there? I don't get it. I don't understand. I think you're right. They knew whose car that was. They just didn't know who the driver was. They were asking, who's the driver of this car?
Small sound, not much, sir. I've already tried working. It's actually not too far from here.
Now, for us as YouTubers, just kind of got to shake off the emotions and plan and get ready for the next trip. It's just, I just want to tell everybody, I've came here, I kid you not, about maybe 8, maybe 9 different times. I've filmed each time. Some of them are small. One time
Cindy says the van came 20 minutes before Libby's phone stopped moving, as testified. That's not what they testified in court. Some people give Weber a hard time saying he changed his story, but it never really changed. But yeah, according to him, it would have been right around 2:30. The girl's phone stopped moving around 2:35. And also they have his time card. They have his punch ins and his punch outs. It all fits perfectly. The only thing that goes against that is the timestamp of the actual security camera, which said AM, not PM. So it's obviously not correct, right?
Ashley brought my little girl here, and we just walked the trail, you know. But
cyber.
It's crazy, and I know I know people who's watching this.
Everybody is a bridge guy except for Richard Allen for some people.
Who live nearby are probably going to be like, yo, man, you guys are trespassing. And yes, we are trespassing. This video is for these
Appreciate
girls,
that,
man.
Indy.
We ain't damaging anything. If anything, from what I've learned, I think people need to go out and explore more woods because, look, yeah, man, or even trails. Kid you not. I live in Warsaw, Indiana. I do. I also, we're very close to Pearson, Indiana. Kid you not, guys. They just found human remains out in the middle of the woods. And
It was basically on the other side of the
how they found it? A lady, I think it was a lady, wasn't it? A lady or a man, pretty sure it's a lady, were walking their dog and they stumbled across it. So, in reality, woods, trails, people, man, start walking. Because a lot of people, this is a good place. I don't, this sounds bad, but clearly it's a good place to do bad intentions and people can get away with it because that's what's happened here. And it's sad. I'm not telling people to do it. I'm just telling people, I'm not telling people to trespass either, but at least where I live in Indiana, a lot of people don't like trespassers. They got the purple paint everywhere. They make it very clear, but it's also a great place for bad intentions, and it just needs to, it's never going to stop. It's a war you're never going to win, but at least maybe you get lucky and you can find somebody who maybe went missing.
Yeah, I think so, Dark Side.
missing, but had bad intentions.
Okay, Jacob.
All right, I think this is the part where they kind of point out down near where the girls cross, the little camping area. There's a table, I'm assuming for filleting fish, right? So if you're a fisherman, you know, putting two and two together, Richard Allen said he loves to fish. Why wouldn't he go down and explore that fishing area that's just below the bridge? You know, if he's known to frequent those trails, cross the bridge. He said, I haven't crossed that bridge in years. Well, yeah. Well, Richard Allen, it's been 6 years since the murders, so it would have been in years, buddy.
I think we should kind of go up here because either way we're gonna have to walk up, and they're right over there. There's actually the bridge. So we can save ourselves
a headache and a half. I'm not just follow your footprints.
What's up, Angela Pepper?
I apologize if there's any times I do point the camera at the guys because we're climbing.
Yes. Good. Good point. Whew. All right. But now I'm gonna kind of, because I told you guys we're kind of gonna move on. We might be heading to Logansport, checking out an asylum. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, just a little info on Wild Adventures with Michael, the YouTube channel. They go and they're like an exploring channel. They go and do a lot of stuff like this for other cases and all over Indiana. So I recommend checking them out.
Yeah.
Just walking in that damn. I can't believe I about got taken by the first moment I put my foot down.
I wish I had that on camera, but hey, you know what? Me and you got together.
We went across it together.
Heck yeah.
Can't get no better bonding than that.
And that's another thing. Like, guys, again, I apologize. I can't remember the full stories, but it's just because it's been so long. There's a truck. Oh, I'm out of breath. See like a path. Sorry.
Oh, you said truck and so I'm like, oh no.
But if he did make them walk across that, first of all, we're in February. We're talking about. Yes, it was warm that day.
So right here, look.
Still, that water was not warm temperature.
No. And in February, yes, Jacob didn't fall.
But still.
But I want to tell you what, man.
How about this?
That had some power.
Oh, God.
Even if it had ice, still. Why in the heck would he walk across? That's why I'm so confused. There's so many questions. So many questions. And we're never going to get the answers unless they catch this guy and he decides to confess.
Well, he
Delphi.
kind of confessed. I'm telling you, Michael is a psychic.
Here's the birds from over where I'll zoom in.
There we
You
go.
guys can see right there?
We walked it, baby. I can get that off my list. And we're supposed to come back. We're gonna have to edit out a scene. Jacob kind of already spoiled.
I didn't make it.
Let's go to Indy says, I will shut up now. Wanted to hear the different views and Sleuth. The timestamp is wrong. I know it is. It's also wrong on the Hoosier Harbor Store camera, 52 minutes, I believe. But there's ways to verify it, right? Let's say you have an employee walk in. He walks in the door, he's caught on camera, and he clocks in. Boom. And it doesn't coincide with the camera. Or let's say you get cell phone data that puts somebody pinging right there in front of the camera, which would easily be either Betsy Blair, Sarah Carbaugh, or Kelsey German, right? We pinpointed all of them and their timestamps align. So for them, mathematically, it would be easy to find out whether it was on, if it was correct or not. I don't know if the same can be said with the security footage that caught the van.
I am also going to tell people, we need a metal detector too. Maybe we can find some stuff out here. But I do want to tell you guys, after our last trip here.
Diane Smith says this walk would have been too much for KK. According to KK, he just sat in the van, like he sat in the vehicle over at the cemetery. And it would have been his father that hiked down there. And the thing is, I've seen people just as big and similar shape, if not more on the other side of the spectrum than somebody like a TK, hike up and down that area. So that's not a very good excuse to say it wasn't a certain person, whether it be a big person, small person, a man or a woman. It really is not that difficult of a walk.
I'm closing the doors on Delphi for the chapter of the YouTube series for Delphi. I will be closing the doors on that. I will always keep updates though. I will always look up, see if there's any more updates.
Okay, here's my question. When
But-
we come back again, is that you're gonna open it? Open the door.
When we come back and after we're done doing that, we're probably going to be done doing the Abby and the series. I'm going to call it a series. I don't want people to think, oh wow, they're making this into like a show, but. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to go ahead and say this now. If this guy's still here, like the police said, somebody knows something. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Money talks. And if somebody does know who this piece of shit scumbag is, and they're not saying anything, oh.
All right, you guys see the table down there? So there's a table here, and in another video, there's a fire pit, like right next to it. So you're telling me that Richard Allen crossing the bridge didn't look down here at this perfect fishing spot with the fillet table and wasn't curious about checking it out?
I just not seen that.
Wow. Yeah, man, I kind of wish that, and that would make me not want to cross. I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, but we already crossed. We're not going back.
Yeah,
And I believe the fire pit's over here to the left. Maybe they'll get it on
did you
camera.
zoom in?
Yeah, I did.
Sweet.
It's like somewhere over here. There's also another hard item right here. It looks like a chair, maybe.
You know, they have weird tables out here, but money talks.
But anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for today's live stream. Let's go ahead and give a special thanks to Alex, Mark, Boston Christian for sponsoring today's live stream. A big thank you to everybody who participated in the chat. Thank you. And if you are part of the replay crew, you know exactly what to do. Drop a comment, we'll get back to you. And special thanks to all of my members, all of you who continue to donate to the Cash App, to the Venmo, to the Zelle, who visit sleuthintuition.com, who have been interested in the merch, and who like and share my content. Special thanks to you guys. And don't forget, we're going to try to have a members only live stream tomorrow. Going to give away this Sleuth Crew hat, still in the packaging. It's basically this hat here. So I'll see you guys later. All you members, I'll catch you in the Discord. Everybody else, catch you on the flip side. Peace.